So we've just watched the trailers for Batman vs Superman and Antman. What do we think?
Starting with Batman, obviously that was it's a teaser trailer at the moment. It's come out now because it was leaked. There was a cam leak, so the studio had to do it. So this is the first time I've seen it in proper quality. I love the look of it, I think, at the moment. Not Star Wars level of excitement, but I kind of like... I've read the comics before of Dark Knight, where it's set in the future and they do end up fighting. And they seem to have taken some elements of that. I know it's a little bit weird seeing Ben Affleck as Batman.
That doesn't bother me as much. At first it did, in terms of when I first found out, but now it doesn't.
I don't know if I like the voice.
Now that I've seen the trailer, I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. Is it the beginning of Justice League? Is it...
I think they're
the
hoping
bit before that, you know what I mean? Or is it... It's just
the fact
weird.
that it's called Dawn of Justice
Yeah.
kind of implies that the Justice League will come off the back of it. I think, as Andy said when we were watching it, the issue is that this is an old Batman.
Yeah. So if you are going to end up doing a Justice League film or anything, kind of Batman, when Justice League was created, everyone was in the prime of their abilities. Whereas this way, from what I saw of the trailer, obviously just a split second, but I think you see Superman go back to the train station where he's killed Zod. So we already know he's wrecked Metropolis with that battle with the Kryptonians in Superman.
Man of Steel.
And then with Batman, you've got someone talking to him all about rage and whatever else. We think that's either Alfred or it could be Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor is going to be in this film.
Yeah, well, there's two voices there, isn't there? And I think
well, a lot of the front bit is commentary. So you don't know if it's media outlets talking about
what's happened.
And should you hate? And the normal debate, you saw the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it's like you saw people bowing to Superman and him not paying much attention to them, which seems a bit odd as well. So there's so much that you need to know, which is good because everyone's talking about it. And you don't. It's another trailer where you don't know what to expect.
I like the whole thing in the trailer as well. Spoiler alert, you haven't seen it, but the false god bit. And then with the statue of Superman,
which is very Lex Luthor to do. Because his thing is that he hates Superman being treated almost as a god, and the whole point about Superman is that he does have these godlike abilities, but he acts like a normal man.
Well, that's what Lex can't handle, is because he craves power.
And Superman's got it all.
And
true power.
Seems to kind of be quite blasé with his power.
Just humble, but Lex doesn't see it that way.
But I
he sees it as arrogance.
Do we feel, and this is my point with this, I mean, because we've had so many Batman films, and successful Batman films over the last 10 years.
Apart from Batman and Robin. And Batman Forever.
That's why I said over the last 10 years. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. No, I don't think so. Dr. Freeze.
Chill out.
Do we feel that there's a gap in this universe for me? Because you got Man of Steel, which was the origin story, and then suddenly something's happened, and you've got this. He's a false god. So you've got this time between Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, and From what I'm getting from the teaser, it is a teaser. That's not going to be explained. That's not necessarily there. But then obviously you've got this Batman who has been through a hell of a lot, because you can see him. He looks weathered. He looks like he's got the whole world on his shoulders, and that hasn't been explained.
And it looks like he's semi-given up.
The
other thing about
the way he's looking at the suit almost implies that he's retired.
Absolutely. Which has been done in the Dark Knight already.
Yeah, of course.
The other thing about this is that a lot of people think that Batman is still seen as an urban myth. So no one knew about superheroes or anything until this whole Metropolis thing happened, and Batman was just like the boogeyman for gangsters and stuff. So I think the world that they're trying to create, because they've already cast Wonder Woman for a separate film, Aquaman is the dude who was in Game of Thrones season 1, the big guy.
But they're in this film.
And we don't know to what extent, how that's all going to come about. Obviously, it's not a Justice League film. Well, potentially it could be towards the end.
But have they rushed two of the most important characters within the DC universe? They rush their characters so that they can jump on this Avengers bandwagon.
Yeah,
Marvel.
We're thinking Marvel did it quite well because with them it's been individual storylines in every single way, and then
they also link. It's all about the trailers at the end of Marvel films for me.
Yeah.
Weirdly, so you've got the Infinity Gauntlet and the ends of Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got Howard the Duck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Although you should have seen these films by now. And with DC, there doesn't seem to be any unity between them. And they're just, like I said, panicking a bit because Marvel have got billion-dollar franchises out of their films, and they want to.
But around the world, you would have thought of all comic book characters, Superman and Batman are probably the two biggest.
Yeah. But they're also the hardest to do.
Of course they are.
Because they are such big characters. I mean, Marvel was lucky in respect of now Iron Man's massively popular because of those films and the characters within there. But look at Spider-Man films. He's one of the most iconic characters around, and they've stuffed
still
him
having
in films.
The original
Fantastic Four.
The original Eric Banner. Hulk.
The two Hulks, the Incredible Hulk and Hulk and
I quite like the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Yeah, me too. I thought Norton.
Well, he turned down Avengers, didn't he? He could have been the Hulk. But
I think Mark Ruffalo's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I also like him. It's like contained rage. The way he acts. So I quite like that. But you can see what DC want to do. They want a piece of that action kind of thing. So you can't blame them for it so long as they pull it together properly. And the thing is, they've come off, at least with Avengers, you had a good Iron Man film, you had a solid Captain America film, you had a solid Thor film before combining them. Whereas with this, you've had a divisive Superman film, two films. Obviously, they're forgetting about Superman Returns, so concentrating on Man of Steel. Then you've just come off the back of a Batman trilogy, and this is a brand new Batman. It's got, probably won't have anything to do with that, otherwise everyone would know who Batman is. So they're essentially rebooting it and sticking Superman in there at the same time. And it's too soon to do a reboot of Batman because of the Nolan stuff that's just happened, really. So they're in the middle ground.
They should have tried to get Christian Bale to do it.
He already said he
flat refusing.
I think I'm glad he hasn't done it because Chris Nolan's. I liked them. You know,
the standalone.
You look at them at the comic
books. A consistent universe within DC for once, right?
But it's the life of comic books.
Or maybe now that we're spoiled because Marvel is suddenly bringing all this together, and obviously
it's a Marvel model.
Right? Spider-Man is now coming into this cinematic universe that they're actually joining everything up with TV series. So we had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil also is within the same universe.
Agent Carter.
They've got
a couple
two
of
different sets, the same universe, but obviously a completely different time period. It's everyone's playing catch up basically, and DC are suffering. Conscious of time. Let's talk about Ant-Man.
I wanted everyone to see this trailer because it's all about me, obviously. But I absolutely love the trailer. I was a bit worried about how they're going to make a film about a character who's the size of an ant. And I think that they're using the same kind of comedy that they use in Guardians of the Galaxy, very tongue-in-cheek, very knowing of what they're all about. If you've got to see the trailer.
They know it's ridiculous.
And they're playing to it. And there is particularly favourite bit right at the end of the trailer, which I won't spoil for you because you have to go and watch it. But for me, that sums it up. Just that little scene. It was so dramatic. And then it shows you how ridiculous it is to have the superhero the size of an insect.
It reminds me of the bit right at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, and this isn't a spoiler because it's not ruining it. But it's the dance off.
Yes,
and that's the bit you sit there and you think that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Just
absolutely brilliant.
Very, very knowing humour. I think I was a bit worried because the original director has left that project. And everyone was worried about it. But they seem to get it back on track.
I think it's one that I think we just have to. Time will tell. We'll watch it.
It's out this
see how it goes.
Should be out this
year. It'd be interesting to see if it becomes a successful film and it's a successful character. How then
integrate it?
Because we've already seen. We know that Iron Man, in comics, not a massive character, but because of the success of the film, and especially the actor who made it his own, will we see them putting Ant-Man into this cinematic universe a little bit closer?
From what it sounds like, they're going to start to move characters around. So I don't want to spoil too much. I already know something about the next kind of Avengers film and Civil War on from that. But it looks like they're looking to build a universe where the characters are interchangeable. So you might have an Avengers third film, and Iron Man won't be there, but Ant-Man will be there instead. Or you've got the Wasp, if this goes well, it's potentially his wife in the future. She could replace Black Widow, because in the original script they were talking about Wasp rather than Black Widow. They just wanted a female character. Sounds a bit just to hit their radars.
Yeah.
So they could potentially start doing that. You've got new characters coming in anyway with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So yeah. Who knows? Plus you've got the rights for, if they do the cameos of Spider-Man, then could they potentially lose Captain America out of it? So you've got Spider-Man representing all-American boy kind of thing.
Well, that's
so many
a
options.
Civil War story.
Potentially. And so one last thing was they could, with Spider-Man coming in, they could potentially get the rights for Fantastic Four back and X-Men.
And X-Men,
Yeah.
that would be
Massive, absolutely massive.
especially because obviously successive Days of Future Past, and you've got X-Men Apocalypse coming up.
Really looking
with some of the new characters, some old characters, some new characters.
Yeah.
If we can then, obviously you've already got that issue where you've got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in
the X universe.
In the X universe,
Fox,
and also in under different names.
Names. Yeah, exactly.
But it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah.
And obviously one thing we haven't discussed yet, we're talking about DC, you've got things like Suicide Squad and stuff like that. So
watch
this space, man.
Lots of big stuff coming out. So
Nearly death-proof.
So I think there's probably going to be lots more conversations about the future of comic book adaptations over the next few months. But thanks for joining us in part 2. Join us again in part 3, where we're going to be finally discussing how we